Hi everyone, welcome to the Full Sail webinar with our guest speaker, Donna Cravotta of Social Pivot PR. I'm so glad that you all are here. My name is Carol Cox. I'm a course director in the Internet Marketing Programs at Full Sail. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, you can do so here. I have the usernames on the slide, so feel free to tag us. You can use the hashtag as well, FSIM webinar. If you're not a big Twitter user, you should be, which Donna's probably going to talk about, but you can also follow us on Instagram, search for us on LinkedIn as well. So a couple of housekeeping items here. Brittany from Professional Development is in the chat. If you'd like to receive GPS credit, then just make sure that you are signed in with your first and last name that matches your Full Sail record so that she can find you and give credit. Make sure to attend the entire hour-long webinar. It will wrap up within an hour, and then there will be a survey at the end for you to take so that you can get that GPS credit. There will be a Q&A portion at the end after Donna's presentation, so make sure to save your questions. Don't put them in the chat until we start the Q&A because the chat goes by so fast that we end up losing your question. So just save it and then we'll find it when we get to the Q&A portion of it. So let me introduce the guest speaker for tonight. Donna Cravotta is the founder and CEO of Social Pivot PR. I've known Donna now for a few years and she truly gets social media. She gets it because she understands how valuable and powerful social media can be to truly understand your customers and your users and to use it to listen to the conversations that are going on, to engage in them, and then to get your customers and followers to engage with you back. After all, it's called social media because it's supposed to be social two ways, not just one way. So Donna's going to help us with some tools and some strategies that we can use in order to more effectively use social media for both our businesses, if you have your own business now or you're planning on starting one, and also for our personal brands, for when you're going out there and you're looking for an internship or you're looking for a job, how can you effectively use social media? So I have a couple of poll questions for you to answer here to get a sense of where you all are at with social media. So let me ask a couple of these questions. You should see a poll come up on your screen, so if you can just answer these questions. Just take a second there. So which program are you in? So I kind of tried to group them together. I only had 5 radio button spots that I could pick, so I'm sorry if I missed your exact program. Just try to find the one that you think best encompasses the program that you're in. All right, so it looks like a lot of internet marketing, sports PR, media communications, journalism students, not surprising there. Some entertainment, music, business students, and then some, pretty even on web design, animation, film, audio, and gaming software, mobile tech, and all of the kind of programming programs that Full Sail has now. All right, great. Thank you for submitting that. That gives us a sense of what you're doing. Now, next question. What is your favorite social media platform? So you can only pick one. So favorite could be which one do you use the most? Which one do you tend to get the most engagement on? Which one do you like scrolling through yourself? Any of them that you follow brands on or influencers and you see what they're doing? So, it looks like Facebook and Instagram are tied. Interesting. So Twitter is a very distant third, and then Snapchat, and then other. If for those of you who picked other, if you can type in the chat, what is that other favorite social media platform? Maybe it's LinkedIn. Again, I only had 5 slots that I could choose from here. All right, so it looks like Facebook and Instagram pretty much tied. Yeah, LinkedIn is a good one. All right, great. Donna, hopefully this is helping you. We get a sense of where everyone's at here. Now, next question. How are you currently using social media? So this is multiple options, so you can pick more than one. So you're using social media in the sense of for yourself, for your personal brand, so to put out there things that you're creating or looking for job connections, networking connections, so that could be one option. Are you using it for your own company that you own, for a company that you work for? Maybe you're doing some internship or one of your jobs is doing social media. Maybe you have an agency and so you're doing social media on behalf of clients, or if you're not currently using social media at all, that certainly is an option. Okay, so most of you are definitely doing it for yourself or your personal brand. Oh, quite a bit of people who have for their own company. That's great. And then some for their company I work for or for clients. All right, this is really helpful. Couple more questions. What do you use social media for related to business and branding? So for your personal brand or for your business or for the company you work for, your clients, what are you primarily doing? Again, you get one option on this. Are you posting content? So you're kind of broadcasting, posting content out. Are you mostly replying to other people's posts? Are you trying to connect with new people on these platforms? Are you doing research, listening to what's going on, or something else? All right, so I know it's hard to choose just one. So most of you are posting, which makes sense. And then a lot of you are using it to connect with new people. Good. All right, almost there. Now, next question. How many hours per week do you spend on social media for business branding? So not for your personal use. So not just scrolling through Facebook and Instagram when you're bored on your phone standing in line, but how many hours a week do you think you're proactively, strategically using social media for business or for your personal brand? All right, so it looks like, oh, it's interesting. It's pretty, and it's pretty split along all these different ones. So it looks like number one is less than an hour a week, so definitely room to increase that. Then we have pretty much tied the top three ones, maybe 2 to 5 hours a week, and then some 5 to 10, and a lot of you 10 or more. So it looks like most of them is probably between 1 and 5 hours. All right, final question. What challenges are you facing using social media effectively? So you can pick more than one item here. So are you not sure which social media platforms to focus on to reach the people that you want to reach? Are you not sure what to post, how to create interesting posts, how to get people to engage, so get them to comment or to share your post, finding time to actually use social media for your business or your brand or something else? And if you choose other as one of them, if you can type in the chat what that other challenge is. Okay, so it looks like for most people, it's getting engagement is a top one. Knowing what to post, creating interesting posts is also a top choice. And then it's pretty much split is choosing which platforms to focus on and finding the time to do it. And then Casey says understanding what others want to see. Alyssa said strategy. Okay, good. Not too familiar with social media in general. All right, great. Well, thank you all for participating in those polls. That gives Donna and myself a sense of where you all are at with social media, where you're using it for, and what challenges that you're facing. So now let me turn the screen over to Donna so she can share her presentation with you.
My name is Donna Cravotta, as Carol has said, and my company is Social Pivot PR, and I do social media a little differently than most people do. I focus primarily on strategy, and we're going to go through some strategies today, and I'm going to go through teaching you how to use social media to do research, to listen, to target your audience and get into conversations with people you actually want to talk to, people that you actually want to meet, people that you can help in some way or they can help you. And one thing I want to start with is it's never random. When you just throw things out there and you try and figure out, well, will this work or will that work, or it's not aligned to a plan, it's never going to work, because what you do is you create these silos with whatever you want to do. So whether you're using this for your business, for a personal brand, in a job, to find a job, whatever, or just to connect with friends, it doesn't really matter. You should always have some kind of plan of how you're going to connect with the right people. Otherwise, it's just a big waste of time. So I hope that you will learn a lot. I know you will, because people usually love these. And I just updated this presentation with new tools. So over the last 6 or 8 months, I did an analysis of all the tools that we were using for our business, for our clients' businesses. And I'm going to take you through some pretty sweet tools, and most of them are free. Some of them are, there's a cost associated with it, but it's nominal compared to what you'll get out of using it. So this presentation is how to leverage social media to understand and engage with your audience. And if you could, as Carol recommended, if you could put the questions, hold them until the end. I will stay as long as you need me, and I'll answer all of your questions. If we run out of time or Carol needs to go, she could send me the questions and I will respond via email. Okay. So you can grow your business through relationships. This is age old. A lot of the strategy that I talk about is old marketing acumen, old business acumen. It's not new. It's about building relationships. It's about caring about the people that you're connected to, and it's sustainable. It's not a flyby. It's meant to create long relationships that will lead to other relationships. And this is where opportunities just pop up. And I'm going to refer back to this throughout the presentation. Real business and real connection, it's happening on social media now. It's not just about, do you like this movie? What's the best restaurant? Crowdsourcing where to get a manicure. There is real business happening right now. I can tell you because I'm in it. It doesn't need to be hard. So many people are overwhelmed by social media because they're applying tactics, not strategy. And we're going to have an entire discussion of strategy versus tactics. It doesn't need to be a time suck. It becomes a time suck when you don't have a plan. It doesn't need to be prohibitively expensive. And I like to encourage people, invite people to rethink their approach to social media. So we're all social beings. We like to be around other people. We like to talk to other people. We like having friends and family. And doing this online should be no different. We gather online and offline. So right now we're gathered around a virtual table. It all starts with clarity. You really need to know who you are and what you represent, what you bring to the world. And this often turns into a therapy session with my clients. But the more clear you are on who you are, what you contribute, what your contribution is, how you can help, and who you want to connect with, the easier this all becomes. So I invite you to rethink, what do you want to be known for? What do you love to do? What are you doing that limits your joy? And how can you eliminate that? Where can you make a real difference? So I want you to jot those things down and think about them, because this is something that you'll come back to over and over again. It's also important to know your audience. If you don't know who you're speaking to yourself online. So I invite you to rethink again. Who do you want to get in front of? What do you want them to do? What do you need to know? What do you need them to know about you? How do you want to engage with them? Why are you relevant to them? And what can you say to grab their attention? I also want to go through a couple of mistakes that are made on social media. It's incredibly noisy. And the way to find success on social media and to limit the amount of resource you spend on this, meaning time and money, because everything is either time or money or both, is to just kind of make it small. Have your plan, know who you want to connect with, and be very intentional about who you're going to meet. So show up and be you. Don't become an entirely different person. Just be yourself. People will know. It's uncanny how people know in 140 characters or less if you're lying. Engage, don't sell. You would never go up to somebody that you just met and say, hi, you want to buy this? People do this on social media and they think it's okay. It's not okay. So get to know somebody before you try and sell them anything. And selling could be anything. It doesn't mean that you're selling a product or that you're selling a service. It could be that you're selling yourself. So get to know somebody. And social media is such a powerful tool for this, because let's say you're going on a job interview. You could learn through social media. You could learn about the company. You could learn about the person who's interviewing you. You could learn about other people that worked at that company. I mean, you could use LinkedIn to see maybe somebody that you went to college with works there now, or somebody that you used to work with in a different job is currently working there or worked there previously. So you start to see these patterns emerge as you do a little bit of research. And it doesn't need to be, anything over the top. It could just be spending 10 or 15 minutes, going over the company webpage, looking at their LinkedIn profile, looking at their Twitter account, and when you do that, like, pay attention to the words, pay attention to the way the words make you feel. Exhibit your brilliance. So what are you really good at? It doesn't even need to be what your business is or what you're selling. I mean, what makes you happy? Because when you show up happy wherever you are, either if it's in real life or it's online, that shines through. So show who you are, show what you're good at, and answer questions. You can search for questions and answer them. Give first before you ask for anything in return. And join conversations. They're already happening. And this is what I love about Twitter. Carol said I was going to pump Twitter. That's how we met. We met on Twitter, and we've been friends on Twitter, and we jointly love Twitter. The thing that I love about Twitter, let me see, there's several things. One, it's an entirely open platform. So you can search for anything. You can track things, which I'm going to show you how to do later in the presentation. And you could also be found. And if you're looking to be included in media, journalists are always looking for resources and experts, and they look on Twitter. So if there is a journalist that you wanted to connect with, start following them, start sharing their content, start using the words that they use, and they're going to find you. And that's the best way to connect with somebody, is position yourself so they find you, because there's never any hesitation. Don't add to the collective noise. Social media is so incredibly noisy. And if you're very intentional in your conversation and you use some of the tools that I'm going to show you in this presentation, you can narrow down that noise and find these little pockets of conversation that are happening, and join those little pockets, because they're these little groups. Like, let's say you were going to some type of event and there were 300 people in the room. It's not likely that you're going to get to have a meaningful conversation with all 300 people in the room. So, pick who you want to choose and pick who you want to meet. That's what you would probably do at a live event. You scope the room and say, okay, like, I've got enough time to speak to maybe 10 people. These are the 10 people that I find interesting. And do the same thing on social media. Instead, listen. Listen before you talk. Listen to what your audience is looking for. What are the words they use? What are the things that they complain about? What are the things that make them happy? What are their interests? One of my good friends has a saying that she says all the time, and she says, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and it's intentional. So listen first, and then join the conversations, and add to the conversation. Don't just like barge into a conversation and contribute to noise, but come in and be intentional. Like, how would you do this if you met somebody in person? How would you break into a conversation? One of the examples that I love to give is, there are 2 people in front of you online talking about something that you can help them with. You can't stay out of that conversation. If you love what you do, or you love what you're knowledgeable about, you can help them. You're going to dive in and you're going to say, well, have you tried this or have you tried that? And however you would act in real life, that's how you should act online. So we're going to go through and build a simple strategy. And, get ready to take some notes. And I saw something up there about sharing the slides. I will share the slides, and Carol will have a recording. And when I share the slides, I'll also send links to all the tools that I recommend. Some of them, I have some free services, 3 months of service. So I'll include all the links to that. And Carol will share it out to everybody. So we're going to build a simple strategy. So just follow along, take some notes, and I'm going to answer questions afterwards. So first, before we dive in, I want to talk about strategy versus tactics. Now, strategy will help you build a foundation. Strategy will help you build something that's sustainable, something that you can build upon. So you build your first level of strategy, and then you get a little better at this, and then you build another level of strategy, and then it's like, hey, I've got a great idea. How can I incorporate social media to support this idea? And now you're building social media into your planning, that's when the magic really starts to happen. Tactics are just the how-tos. Those are all the little tricks and the hacks. And unless they're attached to a strategy, they mean absolutely nothing. They're just spending time and spinning wheels and probably adding to the noise. So if you find, and it's very easy to get, particularly with social media, it's easy to get sucked into the tactics because they're cool and they're glossy and they're fast and slick. But go back to the strategy. Always ask yourself, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? Not how am I doing this? The how doesn't come until you have the what and the why. Or the who and the why. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. So, just be mindful if, you're just getting excited about something and doing something randomly. Remember, I want you to remember, have my voice in your head, that random never works. What is this attached to? What is your end goal? So, know your end goal. A goal without a plan is just a wish. So if you find yourself just poking around and doing nothing, stop and say, well, what do I want to get out of this? This is my time. I could be doing something else. So, really, really be mindful of what you want to get out of your time in social media. Like anything else that you're going to do to drive either your business, your personal brand, or your success in a job, even now as you're a student. So, it doesn't really matter what you're applying it to, but just always have a goal. Know who your audience is. Now, your audience could be a combination of any of these things, any of these people, and there could be others that I haven't even thought of yet. So there's authors, clients, clients of vendors that you use, event hosts, event planners, family, friends, industry leaders, influencers, media, peers, podcasters, prospects, strategic partners, vendors. I mean, so many different types of people. Like, who are you interacting with on a daily basis? Who do you want to interact with? Or who is sitting on top of an audience of people that you want to connect with? Like, if there's a particular tool that you use in your business, you know that everybody in their audience needs to be using that tool too. Maybe you could show them how to use it better. And that's an entire pool of people that you could now tap into just from engaging with the audience of that vendor. So just keep this list in mind, and we'll send it to you so you have it. So where are your people? I mean, this is a big world, and everybody's talking from every corner of the world. So I'm going to give you a couple of strategies for finding them. Okay, you can simply do a Google search. Google's really powerful. And then when you do a Google search, you'll notice as you're typing something in the bar, there are words that come down right from the bar where you're typing in information, right? That's Google's algorithm saying, hey, maybe you mean this, or maybe you mean this. They're giving you a little mini keyword analysis. If you scroll down to the bottom left corner of the page, you're going to see, oh, if you like that, maybe you'll like this too, just like Amazon, right? So they're giving you suggestions of what else you might want to look for. So look at those things. Always be mindful of those two areas. And then a new thing that's started to show up recently on Google searches is there's a box right under like the first few results that come up, which are usually ads. There's a box of questions. So, if you click on the question, it'll give you an answer. Those are pretty much built out of FAQ pages from websites. So if you do have a business, I recommend putting up an FAQ page on your website because that's where that information comes from. So a couple of other ways that you can find people. Connect with an industry, connect with the people that are attending an industry event. They're already gathered in a place based on interest. So if that is an event about your industry, there's probably several people there that you might want to connect with. Fans of an influencer, a peer, a vendor. You could do a little bit of hashtag research, because hashtags are not just a word with a pound sign in front of it. A hashtag represents a conversation. So if you start following hashtags, and I'm going to show you how to do that, if you start following hashtags, you're going to follow conversations about a specific topic or an event or an industry or whatever it might be. You could start by just typing in the search for the hashtag for this event, which is hashtag FSIM webinar. And you can engage with people that are here on this webinar. So there's a couple of tools that I use for hashtag research. Hashtagify.me, FollowerWonk, and RightTag. I also just do a Google search for best hashtags for whatever the topic is, and I always put in the year. With hashtags, sometimes I'll put in the month and the year because I want it to be current. And then track them, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a couple of minutes. So what are they talking about? You don't want to find these people and talk about something they don't care about. That doesn't make any sense. So what I have here is Hootsuite is a tool that I use. Most people use it for scheduling. I use it to track conversations. So I have 3 of my influencers here: Ted Rubin, Peter Schenkman, and Seth Godin. They're all amazing. If you want to know about social media, I recommend you follow them all. And what I did was I follow them in Hootsuite, and I put the streams right next to each other. So I can see what they're doing collectively, and I can see what they're talking about, because sometimes there's crossover. And I highlighted a few things. You'll see under the Ted Rubin stream, there are a couple of hashtags that he uses. So if I wanted Ted Rubin to notice me, I might want to use the same hashtags that he's using. So content, marketing, author. I see he's been interviewed on C-Suite Radio. If he's interviewed on C-Suite Radio, maybe I could be interviewed on C-Suite Radio. I'm going to start listening to that. And I'm going to see what they talk about, and I'm going to see if I'm comfortable. And if I am, I'm going to pitch them and see if I could be a guest on that radio station. And actually, as I'm seeing that, I have 2 clients that would be good guests on that radio station. So I'm going to get them. I'm going to reach out for them. So I just got that just from those 2 tweets right there. Peter Schenkman, the Future CMO Club. I want to be part of that. I want to know those people, right? So, and then 2 more hashtags: public speaking and personal branding. Carol, I think you're going to like both of those. The next one, Seth Godin. I can see that B-Blog RT is retweeting his stuff. She has something called Wednesday Thoughts, and she's sharing Seth's content there. So this might be somebody that I want to connect with. She's a writer, and I might want to know her. So, just from this one little screenshot, I've got all of that information. And that took 3 minutes. So on Hootsuite, if you go to Hootsuite, you can sign up for their free account, which will allow you to have up to 3 social media accounts linked in there. They just raised their price. It was like $10 a month for the pro account forever. They've raised it to $20 a month. Still incredibly good value. They also have great training webinars. So if you go and search on their, there's one webinar on their training webinars about setting up a pro account. And it tells you how to set up these streams to listen. Really good stuff. So you want to craft a plan, because remember I said you need to have a plan. Without a plan, you're just kind of like flying without navigation. It's not going to work. You need to have a plan, and then you need to be ready for opportunities. Because what happens is when you start approaching social media from this perspective, you're listening and you're engaging and you're meeting people, and things start to happen just the way they do when you do that in real life. So have a plan, and then have a system in place in your mind to say, okay, this opportunity came up. Do I stick with the plan or do I go with the opportunity? So just start to think about that. So as part of a plan, start doing some of this listening. Make a list of the words and hashtags they use. Think about the conversations you've had with people. When I first started to do this, I started to do it like with client intake. So I would have a conversation with a potential client or a new client that just onboarded, and I would just listen very carefully to the words that they said, and I would take notes, and I would make a box on the paper. And every time I felt like a little jolt from one of their words, or I felt that they got a little jolt from one of those words, that's an emotional charge. So whenever there was an emotionally charged phrase, I wrote it down. And then I would go do some research on it, and it was always a keyword for them. It was always something that spoke to their market. So, be mindful of the words that people use when they speak and what their reactions are to their own words and what their reactions are to your words. Create content in line with what they like. So once you have a couple of these words, start including them. You can look on Hootsuite and you can see, well, what do they like? Or on Facebook, wherever you are, even on Instagram. What do they like? What are they liking? What are they sharing? Provide content that's already what they like. This is all so much work. Make it easy by just giving them more of what they already enjoy. Share content of the people that you want to connect with. Curated content is a fantastic strategy. Even if you don't have any of your own content, you can create an entire content strategy just sharing other people's content. There's a website called Curati, Curatti, and it's run by this woman, Jan Gordon, who's absolutely brilliant. And all it is content curation. She shares other people's content. Customize the streams in Hootsuite to track it all. And engage. Go into Hootsuite and see what people are saying. You can hook up your Facebook, your LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, all in there. And yes, share your stories, share videos. And don't make it all about business. Make it personal. People want to do business or hire people that they know, that they like, that they trust. All of this builds trust, and you can't buy trust. And then once you have a couple of little systems in place, just rinse and repeat, and it grows and grows and grows. So I'm going to give you a couple of best practices around content, because you need content, unless you're going to just be sharing other people's content, which is a great strategy, but eventually you're going to want to start sharing your own content. Write how you speak. You always want to be who you are. Use the language that your audience will understand, no jargon. If you're in an industry that has very specific language, you could maybe sprinkle some of that in there. But if somebody is new to this, you want people to feel comfortable. If they don't understand what it is, they're not going to feel comfortable doing business with you. They're going to feel stupid. You don't want to make people feel stupid. If you do have an industry where there is language or phrases that people need to be educated on, you can write an article that's informative. It could be a glossary of the terms in your industry. And then you can share those out on social media then the posts all link back to that article, and you can, educate your audience in the terminology that you use. And then, they're going to be more comfortable, and you can up-level your languaging because you've given them a tool to be able to understand what you're saying. If you've got some older content that's evergreen in nature and it's not expired in any way, tweak it to be more relevant, both for your readers and for the search engines. Maintain a library of your content, because one of the things that I've learned in all the years of doing this work is people forget what they write. They forget their images, they forget their videos, they forget what they have. Everything, all of the effort goes into doing what's right in front of you now. It's posted and it's forgotten about. If you have it could be a simple spreadsheet. is it a video? Is it an article? Is it 10 social media posts? Whatever it is, just create a spreadsheet and dump everything in there. This is also helpful because you can see where things link together. And I'm going to, you can include internal and external links on your website and blogs. So let's say you write about, I saw somebody flash up about comics. So let's say you write about comic books. You know, you can have links to articles about Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, you know, Aquaman, and then you can link, like let's say you write another article about Aquaman, you can link to the first article about Aquaman, and what that does is that raises your search engine optimization. You could also link to external links, but this should not be gratuitous. There should be a reason you're linking to the external link. So you want to, it will raise your credibility online, but you want to make sure that it's legit. So if you're writing about, you know, Wonder Woman, and there's this great review in the New York Times about the empowering of women from the new Wonder Woman movie, you can link to that review because it's related. So you know, there's lots of information about that online, and you know, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But you know, using those links and linking your content to your own content and your content to external content is very helpful. It's also good to know that each social platform has its own language and its own cadence. So you know, you just can't take the same post and put it up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram all at the same time, for two reasons. One is they all have their own language. The second reason is if somebody's following you in all of these places and you post the same thing at the same time, you're essentially spamming them. So I'm going to show you a tool where it makes it easy to post to different sites, post content that's similar but not exactly the same, and post it at different times. So repurposing your content. This is like the boiled down system for what we use for repurposing content. And I'm using an article, but this could be a video, this could be images, it could be whatever it is that you have. Write an article, post it to your blog. You could post it up on Medium or LinkedIn Publisher as well. Include it in your e-newsletter. You know, you don't have to put the whole article in there, just put like, hey, we've got a new article with a little sentence or two, and then link to it so you bring the traffic over to your website. Break it down into multiple social media posts. Link the social media posts to that article, and then use different post content and hashtags, and that will get you into different conversations. So you can take that one article and you could make maybe 10 social media posts about that. And you can use different hashtags, and you can use that for quite a long time. So and you can set it up to recur in some of the tools that we use. You want to just be sure that you're keeping track of your content. If you're going to be repurposing it, you're going to want to put a date on your calendar where you sit and you go through everything and make sure that nothing's changed. It may need to be tweaked. It may need to be updated. You don't want to be sharing content that's outdated. I mean, I have posts from several years ago that I still share, but they're evergreen. But we recently took down about 50 posts from my blog because they were outdated. Work smarter, tools and resources. If you're not using tools with social media, you're making it so much harder than it needs to be. So we've already talked quite a bit about Hootsuite, which I love. A lot of people use Hootsuite for scheduling. I don't use it for scheduling. I use SmarterQ for scheduling, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to show you a little bit of it. Social Quant is another tool that I use. That's a tool that will help you grow your Twitter following in a very targeted way. SmarterQ and Social Quant are both paid tools, but worth every penny. Social Quant, you can put in actual keywords of like either people, Twitter handles, phrases, or hashtags that you want to follow. Gavin, they're all websites. Some are apps too. So Social Quant will allow you to quickly build your Twitter following in a targeted way. I don't like most automated tools like this because they're random. And again, random doesn't work. But if you want to connect to small groups of people and do it where it doesn't require a lot of your time, Social Quant is the way to do it. BuzzSumo is a really cool tool. I'm going to show you a screenshot of that, so we'll come back to it. Hashtagify.me, FollowerWonk, and RightTag are all hashtag analysis tools. And if you end up purchasing SmarterQ, FollowerWonk is built into that. And what I will share with Carol is a link where you can get 2 months of SmarterQ for free. Flipboard is a really cool tool that you can save links. So you can save links when you find things throughout the day that you see that you like. You could either share them on social media, you can create libraries out of them, you can do all of these interesting things. You can almost use them like Pinterest boards, and that one is free. All of the, Hashtagify and RightTag are free. FollowerWonk, it's got a very limited free app. Haro, which is Help a Reporter Out, is an email that you can sign up for. And 3 times a day, you'll receive emails from journalists that are looking for resources or experts to interview in the media. I was just written up, well, actually, I think it's going to be coming out next week, in Amex Open on using social media for following trends through something I responded to in a Haro listing. So I'll send you the link to that when with all these links that I send you. Moz is an SEO tool, and I've got a screenshot of that. We'll go through that in a couple of slides. Sumo is a great way. They've got all of these different tools for building your email list, and a good portion of them are free. So take a look at that. So if you want something on your website where somebody can click and sign up, they also have a tool where somebody can highlight something on your website and then tweet it out or share it on Facebook. So there's some nice free tools in there. Mobile apps, if any of these tools that have mobile apps, sign them up, and social media too. Like I just signed up for LinkedIn Sales Navigator. They have an app just for Sales Navigator. So, whenever a tool that you're using has a mobile app, just sign up for it. Daysoftheyear.com is one of my favorite websites. It just has holidays about everything. So if you're looking to get into the media or even just conversations on social media, think about people in your industry and what they might want to celebrate. So there's, I love this story. I wish I could find this article. I read it and then I was never able to find it again. But it was National Ice Cream Day. And there was a little ice cream shop in the Midwest somewhere that was in a small town. And they just had a really small local following and never had a lot of clients, customers coming in. And they learned about National Ice Cream Day. And the local paper wrote an article about them, and they offered free ice cream for the day. They had 2,000 customers in one day. They ran out of ice cream. So, just think outside of the box a little bit. And Yoast, if you have a WordPress website, Yoast is a free SEO plugin that will tell you exactly how to optimize your content so it's SEO friendly. And it will say, use this word, don't use that word. It actually gives you a green light when you get it right. And then it tells you what to fix to get to the green light. It's one of my favorite tools. So those are some of my tools and resources. And I'm going to show you a couple of the tools. I'm not showing you every single one of them because we've run out of time and I want to answer your questions. But BuzzSumo, I use the free account. I don't use the paid account. It's kind of expensive, but it's very cool. If you need it, it's an amazing tool. But for the free account, they let you run, I think it's 3 or 5 searches a day. So you put in like a keyword. I put in social media marketing. And then what it does is it pulls up articles that were written about the topic that you put in. And it tells you, a little bit about the article, and you could link to it. And it tells you how much engagement it got on all the social sites. So if you're thinking about writing about a certain topic, you just come in here, you put your topic in here, and you can see the way it's phrased, and who's reading it, and how much activity it's getting on the different sites. So it helps you find the right words for giving titles to your document, your articles. Content library, aside from a spreadsheet and knowing what I have, we built it out in SmarterQ. And I'm only showing you one screenshot here. This is a screenshot of just a small portion of the sources that I have built into SmarterQ. So these are all of the different the different Twitter, Facebook, Instagram accounts that I want to share content from. And it just pulls it up, and you can just right from here, you can share other people's content, and you can schedule it to go out in advance. So you can spend, there's somebody on my team that does this for me now, but literally she spends maybe an hour a week, and she schedules out all of our posts for the week. And then we go back and we engage live. And we're sharing my posts, we're sharing other people's posts, and we have live engagement. So it's a nice mix of all three things. The other thing that you could do here is you can build your own content libraries in here. So when I talked earlier about breaking down your blog posts into 10 social media posts that you can put on different platforms, what SmarterQ will let you do is it will let you set the schedule for the times that you, like, let's say you want to do 15 tweets a day, 3 Facebook posts, 1 LinkedIn post, and 2 Instagram posts a day. You put the times that you want those posts to go out in the schedule, and then you just fill up the queue, and it pulls the posts at the next available time. It also allows you to write different copy for the different platforms. So now you have you're using a tweaked post, and you have specific times, so they're not being posted at the same time. And that allows you to give, a full, just like a full experience of the social media that you're putting out there. It does a lot of other things too. I could probably spend 2 hours just on SmarterQ alone, but it's very intuitive. It's easy to use. It was probably about 4 or 5 months ago, we went through and we analyzed probably 8 of these tools, and this one blew them all away. It is $45 a month in the configuration that I like. So I'll include that configuration with the information that I sent to Carol, but I'll also include a link where you can get 2 months for free. So Moz, this is such a great free tool. It's and also their blog is incredible, so I recommend reading their blog constantly. For SEO, there's a keyword explorer. It helps you find the right keywords. Very user-friendly. Open Site Explorer, this helps you format your website properly for SEO. On-page metrics with the Moz bar, you install this free toolbar, and every website that you go to, it gives you stats for that website. And it tells you how to use it. It's really easy to use. And you could upgrade to Pro, which is about $100 a month, and you just get more of each of these tools. But you could do so much with the free version. For local marketing, My Business Listing, which gets you into search engines, for local search engines. Manage permissions with My Business Console. That helps you manage, admin management, so like who has access to what. Research categories, you can make sure that you're landing in the right categories in Google searches. So these are really powerful tools. If you hired an SEO person to do this for you, it would be thousands and thousands of dollars. And how to use all of this is on their website. Their blog is literally like it's like a PhD in SEO. And that's what I got. So I'm ready to open it up to questions.
All right, Donna, thank you so much. That was fantastic. I know I took a couple of screenshots as you were going along on some of these slides so that I could keep them. So, a reminder to all of you who are here that there is a recording of this presentation that we're doing right now, and Donna's also going to share her slides and some of these links with me. If you want to receive that, you have to email me because I don't really have a good way of reaching all of you. So, email me at ccox@fullsail.com. And I will reply back tomorrow with a link to everything so that you have that. All right, so now we are ready for questions for Donna. So if you have questions, put them in the chat. The chat goes by fast, so if I miss it as I'm scrolling through, I apologize and I will come back to it, just repost it. And so Stephanie asked, Gary V swears by Nuzzy or Nuzzle. What is it? Nuzzle as a social listening tool. What do you think of it?
I've not used it, but I'll check it out.
Okay, I haven't heard of it either.
It might be expensive. Some of these social listening tools are expensive, and the way that I set it up with Hootsuite, it's free or $20 a month. So, but I'm gonna look at Nuzzle. If Gary V says it's good, it's good.
How about Jessica asked Sprinkler with no E? Have you heard of Sprinkler?
I've heard of it. I've not used it.
Okay, yeah, there's so many tools out there nowadays. The biggest thing is that find one that looks like it has staying power, because the last thing you want is to put so much effort into putting, like, say, all your content library in someone's system, and then they don't last, and all of a sudden they close their doors, and you have to redo all that work.
Yeah, can I just footnote that?
Yes.
I put a lot of effort into this. We took months. And we spoke to founders, and we did a lot of work. So the tools that I'm recommending to you, I'm fairly confident they're going to stick around. Hootsuite is definitely staying around. SmarterQ is staying around. Those are the two main tools that I use in my business.
Okay, yes, I appreciate that, Donna. Thank you. And so, SEO, Gavin, stands for Search Engine Optimization. And if you're in the internet marketing program, you'll definitely learn about that. And if not, then you probably don't overfill your head at this point with just focus on the social media aspect of it. All right, so Talia asked, I'm comfortable with Instagram, not so much with Twitter. Is there value to sharing from Instagram directly to Twitter and Facebook?
Probably Facebook, because Facebook owns Instagram, but not Twitter. I don't really like cross-sharing between platforms. I really do believe that each platform has its own personality. And if you use a tool like SmarterQ, it's very easy to share similar content on different sites. Twitter Moments, I never really spent a lot of time with Twitter Moments. No. I listen a lot on Twitter, and then I just find the people that I want to talk to and I start talking to them. I keep it really simple. And I saw a message come by about time. I spend very little time on this. The time is in the setting it up. And maybe 2 or 3 times a year, I dedicate like a day, and I go through and I clean everything up and I redesign my streams, unless there's something specific that I need to redesign it for. But really, we probably run all the social media for my business in about 4 hours a month.
Wow. And so then, Donna, I think you told me one time that you probably spend personally maybe about 15 minutes a day kind of checking into Twitter and other ones just to kind of engage in a conversation if you see something going on there. So 15 minutes a day, right?
The time is in the setup and the strategy. I mean, really, like, spend the time before you do anything to be clear about what you want and who you want to connect with and why. I mean, because if there's think about it, because it gets, like, in my business, I have barometers, right? Because you've got to weigh everything. And like, think about a scenario on social media. So, like, you're just kind of randomly doing stuff and somebody told you to try this and somebody told you to try that. If you did that, like, at the bank, people would think you were crazy. So, like, just, like, flip it into, like, an in real life situation, and, like, what would you do? Like, would you just be, like, tossing things around. Like somebody told me to say this, so now I'm going to say it. And, it just doesn't, it doesn't work. Just be you. Just be you, and be clear about what your intentions are. And that's really what works. I mean, I watch Carol. She does it really well. Watch what she does on Twitter.
Well, I'm also following you, Donna, so thanks. All right. So Brandy has a good question here that I think will apply to a lot of other people. So she says she's currently working on a personal trainer's personal brand presence on social media. Do you recommend starting with one social media channel at first?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And why is that?
Because you won't, it's a lot of work to get started, to get traction. And if you don't quite have your voice right, or you don't quite have your messaging right, and you have that built out on 3 platforms, you now have to go redo 3 platforms. So spend a little time to figure out where her market is. It's probably Instagram. I would start there. But see where her market is, and that's where you start. And then, work on that for like 3 months, and get a little, you don't have to have thousands of followers, but, just get a little traction, get a little activity, make sure that you're connecting with the right people. And then once you have the audience down, it's easy to recreate that audience somewhere else.
Okay, it's good. So I have a couple more questions here. So John asks, I work with local auto shops and trying to drive consumers to their business. How could social media help these local auto shops?
Well, first I would say use the Moz SEO tool. All the free services. If you go to Moz.com, there's a nav bar up top, and it says, free products. And that's where you'll get to that page that I shared. That will help get local traffic through Google. And that's just setting their Google settings and maybe doing a little tweaking on the back end of their website. If you're not managing their website, you can guide their web person through it.
And use Yelp, I would say, for local businesses especially. Really optimize the business's profile on Yelp and get those reviews on there, because that's
and also on Facebook, you want to make sure that you're a local business on Facebook.
Yeah, that's good.
And if you go into Facebook, into their business, and there's probably also a really good article on this in Social Media Examiner on how to optimize a local business on Facebook.
Yeah, socialmediaexaminer.com, I just typed the link in there, is an excellent resource, and they have articles, in-depth articles and videos on all different types of social media strategies, channels, all of that. So that's a great resource. So
yeah, I actually used to have a program where I trained people on how to do this. I shut down the program and I joined the Social Media Marketers Society, which is their online training program. They only open it up a couple of times a year, but it's the best social media training. I couldn't compete with them, so I stopped.
Yeah, well, they have a lot of people now behind it. Okay, so we're right at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock Eastern. So I want to go ahead and wrap up. If anyone has any final questions, post them here in the chat. I do have a final question for Donna here, is that for those people who are just getting started, so they're not really using social media a lot for themselves or for maybe their own business, where, there's a lot to take in at one time. What is the next step that they should take after they get off this webinar?
Get a Hootsuite account. A free Hootsuite account. Open a Twitter account if you don't have one, and just start listening. You don't even have to worry about talking. Just start listening. If you see a hashtag that you like, or somebody that you admire, just start following them and listening to the conversations, and there will be a point in time, because it's basically eavesdropping, right? So there'll be a point in time where you have something to say, and then that will inspire you. And just keep it simple. The minute you begin to feel overwhelmed, it means that you need to get up and take a walk, do something else. It really should just be a tool that helps you target meeting the right people.
All right, so you heard it from Donna. Yeah, that's great. I love it. So open a free Hootsuite account and start spending 15 minutes a day, or 15 minutes every few days, just starting to build that up and listening. I love that. Excellent advice,
what
Donna.
Hootsuite will do is Hootsuite will minimize the noise, because Twitter is very noisy.
but fun. Yeah. So
It's fun. Fun.
make sure to follow us on Twitter, tag us there, let us know what you thought of this webinar. And I'll put in the Hootsuite again. I'll put the link in here. And Donna's Twitter, you can see that there. My Twitter handle is at Carol Morgan Cox. Feel free to tag Full Sail. Brittany from Professional Development has entered in the chat here the link to the survey. So make sure to fill out that survey so that you get GPS credit for attending. You have 1 hour to complete it. So there's the link there. So make sure to fill that out. And thank you everyone so much for taking the time to attend this webinar. Again, if you would like a copy of the recording, the slides, or the links that Donna has, send me an email, ccox@fullsail.com, and I will reply back to you tomorrow with all of those links. All right, thank you so much, Donna, for taking the time to do this really valuable information. And I know I appreciated it, and I'm sure everyone else did as well.
My pleasure. Always happy to help.